All right, guys. I don't have an intro for this video. I'm jumping straight into it because people have still been talking about Trunks, and I've been hearing more and more people talk about what if Android 21 and Trunks have like this combined storyline, and that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video. And in order to do that, I have a lot of information to present, so please bear with me. Get a pen and paper, take some notes, and I'll probably have to do some breakdown videos of this video. Guys, I want to start with Android 21. And I want to raise this question. What if this Android 21 is actually from the future? What part of the future, DM? What if she is from the Dragon Ball FighterZ timeline? Okay. And to understand this, I want to break this down, okay, into ages. One thing we have to understand is the actual timeline and when these events occurred. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, Android 21 appears after the Universe 6 and 7 tournament. That is in the FighterZ timeline, occurs in that age. In age 780 is when the Universe 6 and 7 tournament happens. Golden Frieza happened at age 779. Then the events after that happen in age 780. Universal Tournament, Tournament of Power, Goku Black, all of that stuff. Okay. Here's what's interesting in Kakarot is we haven't got to the Universe 6 and 7 tournament yet. We literally just defeated Golden Frieza, so we're still a year away from that. Okay. So we haven't reached age 780 yet. So it's possible that what we're experiencing is, or, not necessarily saying that she came back in time or she's from the future, but that Dragon Ball FighterZ showed us future events that in Kakarot, we're beginning to see how all of that happened. Okay. Let me tell you some interesting points, some more interesting points about Android 21. Okay. If you go into Dragon Ball Z Kakarot in the time machine, well, let me start with this. Android 21 in the game is named Female Researcher. We don't know her as Android 21. Why doesn't Kakarot call her Android 21? Because the people in the game don't know she's a freaking android. But she is. Which means that either this is clearly before they found out she's an android. I think what we're playing is the prequel to what happened in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now, Android 21 is not accessible until she's literally not supposed to have been accessible until after or in the middle of the Buu arc before you go to fight Kid Buu. How do I know that? Guys, read this article. Look what it says here. The majority of us pre-ordered the game, and it says if you pre-ordered the game, then Android 21 in the secret feature, which is the training room and Banyu, because remember it told us we would get, it never told us anything about Android 21. Only thing it told us is if you pre-order the game, you get early access to Banyu's training at Capsule Corp. And remember, we was like, oh snap, we're going to get training menus. It never told you anything about Android 21. Why is that? When Android 21 is literally the one leading that catalyst, guys, because I think Android 21 is in the game right now because we're going to see her later on. But let me continue. It says if you pre-ordered the game, then Android 21 in the secret feature will become available shortly after you begin the Android saga and go and talk to Boma. Guys, Android 21 in the time machine. Let me continue. If you didn't, this is when it was supposed to happen. If you didn't pre-order the game, this is the original time that the developers planned on you getting access to the time machine. Or I mean, not the time machine, the training room. If you didn't pre-order the game, then you can find them during the later half of the Buu saga. Or if you've played too far into the saga. So in other words, the intermission that you get in the Buu saga, if you don't go and access it then you have to wait until after you've completed the entire game. The training room, meeting Android 21 and Banyu was all supposed to be post-game content, guys. It's in-game content. Toa and Mira, in-game content. Trunks in the time machine, in-game content. Could they all have something to do with each other? Okay. So the fact that we know we weren't even supposed to access the training room until during the Buu saga, basically when the game is over, We weren't supposed to fight Mira until then. All of that's in-game stuff, and it's really weird. Now the villainous enemies have been in the game since jump, but we don't find out why until we defeat all the villainous enemies. And technically, we're not supposed to be strong enough to even fight all of them until what? The Buu Saga. Why? Because that's where we even fight Vegito and Gotenks, who didn't show up until when? The Buu Saga. All of this stuff is occurring or supposed to have occurred after we've completed the main game. Why is that important? Guys, Android 21 is, if you go into the Cell Saga, in the intermission portion of the Cell Saga where Goku and Gohan, are flying around in regular Super Saiyan form, you are able to go to several locations and find female researcher looking for something. If you go to where you fight Raditz, she's there looking for something. If you go to where you fought Vegeta, she's there looking for something. I'm talking about Vegeta back in the Saiyan Saga. And she even talks about a great ape. How does she even know that? Go and look, it's in the game, bro. If you go to where you fought the androids on the island, she's there looking for something. It's interesting. If you go to the base of Korin's tower, she's talking about some legend of the hermit. And each time you interrupt her, she just says like, I was just kind of looking for something. She's even located in one of the cities. She's all over the map. Go into the time machine and go to the intermission part of the Cell Saga where Goku and Gohan are Super Saiyan and fly around to all of these locations. You're gonna find her. And she's looking for something. And she claims that she's doing research, field research. Now, this is a possibility, guys, that she was gathering all of that data for the training room. Why? Because in the training room, we literally fight clone copies of all the villains that we fought. However, how did she get information on Kid Buu? See, because I know people are going to say, well, DM, there you go. That's the training room, and bam, that's why. There's no Android 21 in the future, but that's not true, because how did she get any information on Kid Buu if we fought him on the land of the Kaz, and she's never there? You see what I'm saying? Something is going on, dude. Something is going on. That could be where she got all of that information from. But how do we know that information that she gathered for them and created a training room for us to fight, which we've used all of our transformations and our fighting styles in those training rooms? What if she's using this to create her clones? Guys, think about this. In the Fighters timeline, she uses two things from Dr. Gero. One, she uses the Soul Link system. The other, she uses the cloning system. Okay? And she uses that to create copies. If she's able to create the training room where we fight clones, then that means that she already has the technology necessary to create clone copies. But there's a catch. Kakarot exists in its own timeline, guys. That's why we have Towa and Mira there now. That's why Bulma created the time machine. Bulma wasn't able to create the time machine, guys. Let me tell you the age. She created it in age 784. The current age that we're in right now in Kakarot and in Dragon Ball Z after Golden Frieza is age 779. How do I know it's age 784? In this Trunks' timeline. History of Trunks timeline. That's the age in 784. That's the age that he went to our timeline in Dragon Ball Z where he fought Frieza and King Cold and warned us about the androids. Guess what age Goku Black shows up in his timeline? 795. That's when Goku Black appears. In 796, he used the time machine because they had to fix it and all that to come back to our current timeline, which is age 780. That's when Goku Black occurs. But see, in the Kakarot timeline, Trunks isn't in the past. He's already here. So who's fighting Dabura and Babidi in his timeline? Because he fought them after he went back in time and defeated Cell. Now, I think that he's already defeated Cell in Android 17 and 18 because that's what he did immediately upon returning to his timeline. Okay, which that was age 784. He already defeated them, okay? So, we're going to assume that Cell, Android 1718 are already defeated. But in his past timeline, who's going to stop Babidi and Dabura? And if that happens, Majin Buu is going to be revived in his timeline, things like that. Kakarot has literally screwed up everything. By having future Trunks in the present timeline with Golden Frieza, with Beerus and Whis, which Trunks was not there, guys, but he is there, which means he's not in his past timeline, which means guys, Dabura hasn't showed up in Trunks' timeline yet. Because Golden Frieza occurs in age 779. This is Kakarot has thrown everything out of whack as far as timelines are concerned. I don't really see History of Trunks happening the way that people think History of Trunks is going to happen. Because if it did, here's the error in that. They're going to have to go back into the History of Trunks, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to be playing a DLC without Goku and Vegeta. Why? Because they're dead in that timeline. They literally unlocked Super Saiyan God. So you would have unlocked Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue only to get to a DLC 3 to where you can't even use Goku and Vegeta because they're dead if you're playing the History of Trunks. That doesn't make sense because they don't need that power to defeat the androids in Cell in the History of Trunks. But what's interesting is Trunks does go back in time. He fights and kills the androids, and then Dabura and them show up. He kills Dabura, goes Super Saiyan 2 in the process. And then there's a bit of peace before Goku Black appears. But like I said, this Trunks is in our current timeline right now because of Bulma building a time machine that she didn't build in the anime and the manga until the age of 784, which we have not got to 784 yet. Guys, let me tell you something. In the current age where we're at in Dragon Ball Z and in Kakarot, guess what age 784 is? The 28th World Martial Arts Tournament occurs in age 784. That is when Goku fought Oob at the end of Dragon Ball Z. That's how far in the future it is until Bulma gets the technology needed to build the time machine. So this History of Trunks thing, if I'm not saying Trunks doesn't have anything to do with DLC 3, guys, but here's one thing that people have to understand. I don't think anybody at this time, when they were looking at the data mine files, thought that Trunks would, they already assumed Trunks would be a playable character because these things are in the DLC files. That's where they data mined them from, out of the DLC debugging stuff. However, they also found Banyu in those same data mine files, not in the same one as Trunks, but in the DLC debugs. Why? Banyu's downloadable. She's a downloadable character. You access her through downloadable content, not, or she's in the base game. But the reason I'm saying that is because you can't necessarily go off of this. See that? Huge thanks to Dmgaming for noticing this first. But anyway, you can't necessarily go off of this, guys. You can't necessarily go off of data mine. Because they also have this for all the characters. They also have character models for all the characters. Just because they found this in quote unquote DLC doesn't mean that it's actually DLC. But like I said, let's go with the notion that it is. Let's look at something right quick. This is Trunks' model from the data mine. People said, oh, this History of Trunks. Look at his hair. He has the 3 bangs on the side, okay? 2 little skinny bangs in the middle. This is Trunks' character from Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. The literal drawing that you see on his soul emblem and all that stuff. You see the little 3 bangs there? 3 on the side right there? Okay. This is Trunks from the actual anime. Look at those 3 bangs on the side. Oh, by golly. Okay. This is Trunks from Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Look. Super Saiyan form. 3 bangs. Bam, bam, bam. This isn't proving anything. And this is Trunks from the History of Trunks. You don't see those 3 bangs. It looks more like one, like these right here. It's not literally split. It kind of looks like this right here too. I know people can argue that, so we'll say that. But look, that's clearly distinctive. But this is not a clear side view, so okay, I'll give you that. This is Trunks in the History of Trunks before he went back into our timeline. Look at his hair. It's not down. It's up. I don't think this is from the history of Trunks. And then people say, well, DM, what about this? This is nothing more than a color scheme. This doesn't prove anything. First of all, look at the color of Trunks' hair. Let me zoom into his main form so you can see the color of his eyes. This color is the same as this color. Okay. This is the color of his eyes. This right here could literally be the color of his eyes. This is the strap on his freaking thing holding his sword. So that doesn't prove anything. I know people look at this color and they see this color and then say, okay, well, then where does this color come in? I don't know, man. I don't know, because his pants are black, his shirt is black, the white is there, there's black there, there's pink there, obviously, from his hair. I mean, it could be this Trunks. Who knows? All I'm saying is, if we do have history of Trunks in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, it's not going to play out the way that it played out here. It's not going to play out this same way, guys. It ain't. It's not going to play out that way. Because in order for that to play out like that, Trunks, what happens when he comes to our timeline? In the history of Trunks, at age 784, he comes to our current timeline where he fights Frieza and King Cold. We've already done that in Kakarot. So they would literally have to skip that, go to where Trunks goes back into his timeline after the Cell Saga, where he kills androids 17 and 18. However, the problem with that is after that, he later fought Dabura whenever Dabura showed up, but that doesn't happen. The reason why is because Bulma in Kakarot creates a time machine that brings Trunks to his current timeline. To this timeline, guys. So that means he doesn't fight Dabura and Babidi. So, only way I can see this happening is if Kakarot makes a lot of changes. And those changes include possibly Trunks saying, hey, you know, I got to go back to my timeline. Now, I can speculate and assume that whenever Bulma brought Trunks to the Kakarot timeline with the time machine she created with the technology that she shouldn't have had right now, where does she even get the technology from? Who asked that? Where did she get it from? What if she got it from Android 21? Why? Because 21, if she's from the fighter's timeline coming into the past, she would already have that knowledge of that time machine. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there, guys. Because nothing in Kakarot explains how Bulma is able to create a time machine. But yet Trunks appears at the end of the main game. He appears at the end of DLC 1. But there's no time machine at the end of DLC 1. But you also get Trunks appearing at the end of DLC 2. I think what was supposed to happen, because DLC 1 and 2 were supposed to be together, guys, is that DLC 1 and 2 come out, you get Trunks at the end of DLC 2, and you get the time machine, which appears there, and you get to replay that mission. Some of that could just simply be formality, because we know that we wanted to replay DLC 1, and they didn't let us replay it like we could the other stuff, so they could have put the time machine there just to let us replay those missions, because people requested that kind of stuff. I don't know if they ever meant for Trunks to be there, but we know that they purposely meant for Trunks to be in DLC 1 because the data mine files tell us that Trunks is there in the ritual. So when Kakarot first came out, and that's not nothing big, guys, because by the time Kakarot came out, they were already working on DLC 1. They were already working on DLC 2. Why? Because they were initially supposed to be together. I don't know why they split them up, but they split them up. But they were working on both of them at the same time. Now, what I find interesting is you don't see any character models or color schemes for Golden Frieza. You see what I'm saying? But he's there. He's in the game. I don't know, man. All I know is that Android 21, now here's something interesting. What could Android 21 be doing? What could she possibly be coming to the past to look for? Dr. Gero's equipment, the schematics to rebuild Android 16. Why? Look, she's working for Dr. Breeze. Why is she there? Guys, 16 is nowhere to be found in the game. But in Dragon Ball FighterZ timeline, Android 21 rebuilds him. She's the one that brought him back. Bulma actually had Android 16 in her lab. They have the schematics to rebuild him and everything. Maybe she knows that. And this is where she gets the information that she needs to rebuild 16. Now, there's going to be some differences. Like I said, if they do Android 21, there's going to be some differences. Why? Because in Android 21 story in Dragon Ball FighterZ, her and Android 16 go to New Namek, which is in Kakarot, to summon and revive all the villains. But that's already been done by us with Earth's Dragon Balls. So that changes. You cannot look at Kakarot and say, this is what's going to happen next. This is what's going to happen next, according to the timeline. Because Kakarot is its own timeline, guys. And we know that. And that timeline has been altered. Why? I don't know. What's the catalyst behind it? I don't know. But Bulma didn't build a time machine at this point in time in the Z story. That's automatically showing that the timeline is off. Toei and Mira never showed up in the anime and the manga, but now they did. Why? Because we're in the Dragon Ball universe and there's so many different timelines and they're starting to merge and mix and things like that. We could literally be seeing, like I said, a prequel to Android 21 before she turned into what she turned into in Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's why I believe Android 21 is going to have a lot to do with DLC 3. Now, could Trunks have something to do with DLC 3? He could. He could, but I don't see a history of Trunks. I mean, they could do like some side stuff where he's sitting with Bulma talking about it and he's flashing back and you're playing it. But guys, here's the thing. I asked the question before, how does Trunks go? Like, if they do a history of Trunks, we'd have to start over with Super Saiyan. Because in History of Trunks, he didn't get it until Gohan died. That was in the animated version. In the manga version, guys, Trunks already was able to go Super Saiyan. The anime version screwed that up because Trunks in the manga version was already able to go Super Saiyan. We know this because Trunks was able to go Super Saiyan at the age of 8 in the present timeline. He was either 8 or 9 years old in the Majin Buu arc when he was able to go Super Saiyan. The only difference is he was able to go Super Saiyan, but at that age in the History of Trunks' timeline, Vegeta was already dead. Vegeta wouldn't have been alive. So, I mean, even though Trunks was born, Vegeta wouldn't have been there to train him and stuff like that. And so we don't know. But Trunks was able to go Super Saiyan. So if they did a History of Trunks kind of thing, technically, yeah, he'd already be Super Saiyan. So we'd already have that skill unlocked. But they could also put in there from Dragon Ball Super where Trunks fought Dabura and Supreme Kai dies and stuff, and he's able to go Super Saiyan 2. That would be a new transformation for him. But like I said, the problem with the History of Trunks is that in order to tell the story, you would have to go back and eliminate Goku and Vegeta so they wouldn't be there to fight. None of the support characters would be there. So the only support character you would have would be Gohan, who would later die. And then you would have to come to the present timeline that's already occurred in Kakarot, only to go back after the Cell Saga and defeat androids, and then come back to the future because Bulma bought you there. See, there's so many loopholes and retcons in this timeline that I can't see the History of Trunks happening the way that happened in the anime. There would have to be some sort of flashback kind of stuff and things like that. Maybe Trunks goes back into his timeline, or he flashes back and sees Android 21 there or something like that. You know, I don't know. I see people talking about because Android 21 is clearly looking for something. And what if she stumbles upon the time machine? And because what she can't find in our current timeline, she uses the time machine to go and look for it in a different timeline. And that's the catalyst for us going with Trunks. Or maybe Trunks is the one that chases after her because he's an android and he hates androids. You know what I'm saying? And don't y'all find it strange, speaking of Trunks hating androids, that Trunks right now is in our timeline and we can play as 18 as a support character, guys. Android 18, you can literally have a team with Trunks and Android 18 as your support character. And Trunks doesn't flip out or anything. Mind you guys, Krillin is already married to Android 18 right now in the current timeline. Battle of Gods and Golden Frieza, Krillin and Android 18 are married. Trunks didn't find that out until the Goku Black arc, and even then, he flipped out when he saw Android 18. None of that has happened in Kakarot. So we are literally looking at a timeline in which anything is possible. Anything is possible. Everything has literally been thrown out of whack in the Kakarot timeline, guys. So, you know, like I said, if you're expecting the history of Trunks from DLC 3, don't expect it. If you're expecting Goku Black, don't expect it. Even though in the timeline, there are some things that occur before Goku Black, the Universe 6 and 7 tournament. You know, where Vegeta and them meet Champa and Vados, and they have the tournament and all of that. Goku Black hasn't shown up in Trunks' timeline because the Majin Buu arc occurs at the age 774. Now, like I said, in Trunks' timeline, age 774 is where, you know, he's still fighting with the androids at that time. Gohan hasn't died yet in his timeline at the age 774. So, in a sense, the present timeline where the Majin Buu arc occurs, in Trunks' timeline, he's still dealing with the androids. So there's even differences in those timelines. But since Trunks was brought here after we defeated Majin Buu, that means he went back to his timeline in 784, probably already defeated the androids and stuff, because there was like a 7-year time skip between the Cell saga and the Buu saga, something like that. So we know Trunks going back to his timeline probably already, he had plenty of time to defeat the androids and stuff. But we also know that Dabura and Babidi hadn't shown up yet in that timeline. Or maybe they did. You know? I don't know. There are so many loopholes. There are so many things disproving a history of Trunks DLC. But yet and still those things exist. And this is why. This is literally why. Because people found this in DLC files. Not this, they found this head and this, but like I said, that head is literally the same head that's in the current game with Trunks. That's all that could be, but because they saw him in DLC files, but it could literally be there because Trunks is in-game content. Who knows? Who knows? Because even some of the other stuff that they found in this was already in some of the debug files. Let me try to find that really fast where, I'm trying to find that particular page where the girl there talks about, like even this stuff with Broly and them, that stuff was on the Cardos stuff. And remember I told y'all about Dragon Ball Z Cardos? Guess what? That stuff was in the debug files as well. I, for the life of me, can't find the freaking channel, the account that had it on there. But it was all there. See, even this stuff here, this was back in January when the game came out. See, this is the color scheme. See, their eyes are in the corner for Super Saiyan God. Those are their eyes. You see what I'm saying? And it's in there. See, it's in the DLC files. DLC 5, you know, all of that stuff there. That's the stuff for the hair. I mean, all of that stuff was in the game really, really early. Even this stuff. See, January 21st, the time machine, I mean, this is at the end of the game. Of course, the time machine wasn't active until later. But look, ta-da, I whipped up my own time machine and bought Trunks back from the future. How does she whip up her own time machine when she doesn't have the technology yet? DBZ Kakarot has literally created its own timeline. You brought me here without much discussion. Did you need my help for something? See? Like, there's so much going on, dude. I mean, even the data mine stuff, like all of this stuff was out. April, that stuff was out already whenever that stuff came out. This is what I was looking for here. These Kakarot spoilers. This is the person here. She actually tells you there's also Trunks head in DLC 8, which is a file. Okay, in DLC 8, if you go to the Steam files, guess what's in DLC 8? Like downloadable content, like the cooking stuff with some new body textures or whatever reason. Pretty snazzy. Also, just notice I said debug menu, not debug build. This comes from a debug build. But this is why people were saying, oh, History of Trunks, because it was in DLC 8. Guys, really fast, I'm going to go here to the Steam files. I'm going to show y'all something here. Okay. Where is it at? First of all, there's no updates on the Steam files. I already looked earlier today. Packages. Nope, it's not under packages. Where is it under? By golly, DLCs? Nope, not under DLCs. Deposits. Okay, here. Okay, so this, look at the DLCs. They said this is under the DLC file 8 file. What does DLC 8 file say? Hot grilled fish. But it's interesting because you look at DLC 1 and what does it say? A New Power Awakens Part 1. You look at DLC 2, what does it say? New Power Awakens Part 2. You look at DLC 3, what does it say? Unknown. But then you go to DLC 4 and you get the pre-order package. You go to DLC 5, you get the aged steak, you get the palace bowl, you get the Tao Papa pillar, DLC 7, DLC 8 is the fish, DLC 9 is the music compilation pack, and DLC 10 is the season pass. And then the DLC extra is just only extra. Release date unknown. DLC extra doesn't have a release date. All the other ones have a release date. This one doesn't have a release date. These even say unknown, even though they already released. So you can't look at this and say, oh, it was in DLC folder, so this means History of Trunks. But now they did find some stuff here. And look, DLC 1 event battle, and that was the stuff with Beerus and Whis. And this was back in January. You see, she even found where Trunks was talking about. See, I assume this means Super Saiyan God is unlocked for Vegeta as well. Seems to be the same deal as Goku Transformation Trunks instead of Adele and Baby Pan. No mention of Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan for either. And this is where they found out back in January that Trunks was going to be in the Super Saiyan God ritual. You see what I'm saying? Even the Kardos stuff. Look at that. Cards Warriors was already planned in the game. Been looking through the message test me. This was back in February. They didn't even announce Kardos stuff yet. In the building and found a lot of messages relating to some sort of Kardos. Remember I told y'all a long time before it was even Card Warriors. I said, dude, these are Kardos cards. Bam. That of mine. Yet there's nothing in there for DLC 3. And it could just simply mean that they just didn't look deep enough to find it. So I got in contact with this person because I'm trying to find a way to look into these files so that I can see if I can find anything on DLC 3, dude. I mean, because there's literally thousands of things to look at. See, these are the color schemes in January for. Let me show you an example of how the color schemes could mean anything, guys. This is the color scheme for Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Where does Vegeta wear black at? Where does he wear gray? Now, what about these? Pink. There's no blue there. Guys, these are all color textures, okay? He does have black on his pupils, but not in the Super Saiyan God form. On his Batman shirt, he has black letters. That's the only time Vegeta has anything that has black on it. Why is there no blue there? You see what if you were to look at this, you could say Super Saiyan God, because that's the outline of Vegeta's head, clearly. That's his skin. That's maybe the thing for his eyes or his hair. But see, these color palettes mean nothing. And then here's the blue one that has the exact same color palettes as this one. So we know that this square here is representative of his hair because see, it's blue here and it's blue there. But what about this other stuff? What is that? See? So when we go and look at the History of Trunks stuff, we can't say that this is all of Trunks' stuff because where did Vegeta have the black and stuff at? This could be literally nothing. See up here, you have that same color. You have the pink, the gray, the black, the gray, and the pink, the same stuff that was on Vegeta stuff. So this could literally be nothing, man. But it could be something. That is the only reason people are speculating History of Trunks, guys. And I'm just saying, kind of debunk some of this stuff right here, man. I mean, you literally debunk it with this right here. And look what they say. The textures for Super Saiyan God, Goku, and Vegeta. Vegeta's kind of funky with custom hair textures. These are Vegetas. That's just the regular color for Super Saiyan God. These are their eyes for Goku and Vegeta. Red eyes. And kind of pinkish Super Saiyan red hair. But see what, like, if we're going off the same thing we basing the history of Trunks off of, when does Vegeta ever wear black? When does he ever wear gray? You know what I'm saying? Oh, snap. Now y'all figured it out. Yeah, Whis' battle armor. Vegeta, his battle armor, but it's not even this color or this color. It's actually gray. And then where is the gold for the strap or the Saiyan armor part of it? See what I'm saying? What pink does he have? Why? And if it's from his Batman shirt, why is there no blue there? You see what I'm saying? For his regular Saiyan armor form stuff. Not to mention, when Vegeta went Super Saiyan God, he didn't have on the Whis battle armor, guys. He didn't have the gray armor on. He had his blue armor on, so why is there no blue here? You get what I'm saying? So these color swabs or textures don't really mean much right now. See? Where is this color stuff at? I mean, there's just so much, dude. The game in Steam lists 10 DLCs. However, this includes the little things like season pass, food bonus, so it's likely doesn't mean much outside of what we already know. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. They list all those DLCs, but it's literally this stuff. And when you go and look, I've already looked at all of this stuff. See, this stuff was grayed out. You see what I'm saying? So, guys, I mean, I know I've talked a lot. There's a ton of information in this video, and I don't think a lot of y'all gonna make it through it all. But there's a lot of stuff here that I'm gonna have to like really dissect and break down. But I just don't see the history of Trunks, man. I don't see the history of Trunks happening. I don't. And the more I look at it now with this research, and I probably should have just did a debunk video on this, but this really doesn't mean much. It doesn't, especially when you compare it to the swabs for Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. Like, what is this? You see what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Till next time.